Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Warriors Den. It's 2020. Happy New Year. It's January 16th. We know that we're late, but, we didn't have the chance to say it before. So Happy New Year. We hope you had your great holidays. Yeah. Bonne année. Bonne année to everyone. How was your holiday?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was relaxing. I did some ice burling outside.
Nice.
If you saw my Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, but how was your holidays?
It was good. It was good. It was relaxing, of course, and I hope it was for you guys too. Obviously, we had a couple of things that were going on. We had the Jean Who's Gambit event, so hopefully you escaped the castle. I know I had some trouble doing that.
Well, we finally did it.
Yeah, we did.
So that was
we
fun.
did. So that was cool. We also have today the Frostwind Festival to celebrate the holiday period, the winter spirit. And if you're in Canada, you know that it's going to be cold as shit pretty soon. Minus 24 tomorrow. So
Is
looking
it?
forward to that.
I'm not here.
It's going to be fantastic. But yeah, Frostwind Festival that's ending today. Hope you guys have been enjoying that. But yeah, guys, new year of the reckoning, 2020. We know this. But we've got a little bit of not a surprise, but something that we're going to start before we get into year 4. And that's testing grounds that we'll talk about later with friends Stefan Jawinski and Edgard. But first off, we got to start off with the rewards for tuning in today. We've got Twitch drops. And of course, Twitch drops haven't changed. 1 guaranteed scavenger crate for 30 minutes of cumulative viewing time, and if not, a chance to win the Honor and Gratitude Battle outfit. So a handful of lucky viewers every 10 minutes will get selected. So stay tuned. And if not, we have Azarus, of course, as well.
Yep. As you see, this lovely button in this general area,
Yes.
this red button, is called
I'm sure
Azarus.
you're killing it right now. I'm sure the accuracy is on point.
Azarus is a reward platform that rewards viewers to answer questions on stream. It will pop up and it's multiple choice, and the questions will be based on the contents of the show. So pay attention to what we're saying. Yeah. Make sure you authorize your account.
Yeah, link the accounts. I forgot to mention that for the Twitch drops as well, but you need your Uplay accounts to be twitched to your linked account. No, linked to your Twitch accounts for you guys to get those rewards that we were talking about.
Yes.
And you can redeem the AZA credits on this link right here. I think Max is going to pull it up. forhonorgame.com/redeem. And you get in-game rewards, as we mentioned. So
yep. You get the credits when you answer the questions correctly.
Yes.
You don't get penalized if you answer incorrectly.
Just try. You just gotta try. That's all. And pay attention.
It's easy money.
Easy money.
Easy rewards.
Easy money. That's my motto in life. If not, guys, we got some interesting things to talk about before we get into the new testing grounds phase that we're gonna have again. Stefan and Edgar talk about a little news. Little cross-brand event, not in For Honor, but in
the Mighty Quest for epic loot.
That's right. A little bit about Mighty Quest here.
Mighty Quest is a mobile-friendly hack and slash set up in the wacky world of Opulencia. Mm-hmm. It's free to play on mobile, so you can download it right now. Basically, the story is, since the king of looters disappeared, everyone is looking for him, or for a way to take its place. Everything is about loot and who will be the mightiest looter. So get all of the stuff.
Yes, and the interesting thing is that specifically for season 3 called Frozen Hearts, you will be able to see the raider in the game. So a cold wind is blowing over Opulencia, the land of Mighty Quest, as the wild Vikings of For Honor are about to storm our lovely castles. Can you stop the raider before he loots everything before you? What's the real reason behind his presence? Tackle a brand new epic pass to find out and get a chance to earn the time-limited Honor of the Raider set. So you get to be legendary on your mobile device, and it's all just one thumb. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, they have a bunch of features. So I was going to show it to you, but I got locked out.
You got locked out.
No, it's okay.
It's okay, Max. Don't worry. Don't worry, Max.
Don't worry about it. But some of the features is besides, grabbing your phone and swiping to slash, they have a PvE campaign where you can crush bosses to discover the truth about Opulencia. Yeah. There's a PvP arena, so you can fight, against other people on a 1v1, v1.
Yes, everybody against each other.
You can build and upgrade unique heroes. So there's over 1,000 unique gear items, epic weapons, armors, legendary artifacts, etc. And of course, never-ending, ever-changing events. So actually, Season 2 was themed around Assassin's Creed. They have Ezio in the game, and now this season, Frozen Hearts, the Raider.
The Raider.
Yeah. You gotta play it. It's actually it's pretty cool. It's really fun, and it's free to play. And find out why the Raider is in there. You might find a surprise.
Yeah, maybe something that has to do with love. I don't know. We'll figure it out. You got to check it out. Anyways, coming back to For Honor specifically, again, shout out to all of our friends from Mighty Quest for making this happen. Super cool stuff. But For Honor, January roadmap. You want to tell the folks what's going on in January here?
Yep. Well, as you can see, the Frostwind Festival was on the 9th and ends today. Today is the 16th, and we have Testing Grounds and also the Ground Warrior Challenge, which we will also go into more details later on. But we have on the 23rd, Hero Trial, the Woolen Heroes. So if you don't have the Woolen Heroes, now's your chance to try them out. Of course, the Arcade Weekly Quests on the 2nd, 23rd, and the 30th. We got XP Fest on the 24th, get your XP. And of course, on the 31st, Executioner Challenge. 30th, locked content of the week as well.
Yes. And you guys, again, you're looking for maybe some year 4 stuff? It's coming. All right. Okay. End of January. That's all I'll give you. That being said, let's start off with today. The event order, as you mentioned, the Ground Warrior Challenge. So be the faction with the most matches completed in Testing Grounds, which we'll get into later on. So that's January 16th to January 30th for this event order. If not, we have the Arcade Weekly Quest, the Messengers of Doom. As the earth stirred, the messengers of doom rose and struck fear in everyone's hearts. Yet a bold combatant stood against these evil forces. So each encounter is a fight against the harbingers. So those are the heroes of year 3. So if not, one thing before we bring Stefan to remind everyone about the Testing Grounds globally, if you missed the first phase, just talk about it in general. We want to roll the Content of the Week video for this week, and it's new signatures for the podium for all heroes, and they are available now, ladies and gentlemen. 2020, baby, we're back with Stefan Jawinski after these messages. Now those were really cool, but not as cool as our friend Stefan Jawinski. Well, I don't know. Those were pretty cool. I'm kidding.
I felt so high and now it's so low. That was quick.
No, but you know what? The thing that about those podiums, I don't know about you guys, but the Jormungandr, I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people, but they need a chill. They need a chill, man. Anyways, that was disgusting.
No, but like shaman,
Yeah, that was
like
that was a good reenactment.
that was
That's
like
excellent.
that's like almost JoJo.
Yeah.
Almost.
Almost. How are you, Stefan?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We've got the testing grounds today, live today, and we just want to do a reminder, right? Last time we did it was how long ago?
You should have asked me before.
Sure.
I don't know.
No, of course.
During season 11.
Yes, so we have Ed that's going to come back and talk about this testing grounds, but we wanted to make sure that we can kind of recap the testing grounds in general, a new tool that we introduced, and maybe some of you guys missed this information. So let's do a quick reminder on what the testing grounds is. Of course, we've got a PowerPoint to be prepared for this
Perfect.
event, of course. So let's get into it.
Let's do the computer stuff then.
Yes. So testing grounds.
Testing grounds.
Tell
okay.
us.
Info reminders. Okay, so it's similar to a public test server, except it's directly within your game. You update today, you get the patch, you're good to go. It's not a separate download, you just have it. It's on the event front, so all you have to do is look on the faction war and see testing grounds, where it usually says events, and that's how you participate.
Yeah.
It's available on all platforms. Are you PC? Are you console? Doesn't matter. You can play it.
That's the main difference from the PTSs that we used to hold, the public test servers, is that it used to be PC.
PC
and
only,
now,
separate download.
Now it's available right in your game, whether you're on Xbox, whether you're on PS4, whatever it is, PC, and it's in the event front. So that's been super cool.
And you have it. This is amazing.
Exactly.
And then finally, because it's in your regular game and it's an event front, it allows you for regular progression. So you are getting XP for your character. You're getting loot at the end of it. It's not wasted time.
Yeah.
To
we even
try
have
the
event
content.
orders for it, right? So
Exactly. There's rewards,
Yeah,
in fact.
exactly.
So please do it. There's only benefits. Finally, players will be able to share their feedback, especially with a survey at the end of this. We saw this in the last one. It was super important for us to see that. It had high participation, tons of people, especially on the last day, so it was all like last minute, but making analyzing a bit tougher. But this is, for us, the most important step. For us, the testing grounds is another step along our continuing contract with you guys to be as transparent and as collaborative as possible in the process. So please try the content. Please tell us what you think. We actually read all the surveys. It's not a marketing beat where we're just trying to get you hyped. It's not using you as cheap bug testers. It's please do it. Please tell us how you feel about it. And then we take analytical steps after that to decide exactly what to do.
Yeah.
But for me, this is the biggest thing, so please do it. I could have put this up. Yeah. Player feedback will determine what will go live and what needs further development. Like I said, the survey actually matters. Your feedback actually matters. This is the principal reason that we do the testing grounds.
Exactly.
So you can participate in the process and help us come with the best content answers.
Yeah, for sure. And so on that point, I mean, the timeline of deployment, this is more of a reminder, but we're going to be doing something in terms of the game mode breach today, which Edgar will get into. But for you guys, obviously, maybe addressing the first testing phase, which was on the Centurion, the Gladiator, and as well as the Warlord. We also felt it important to kind of talk about that because we're doing something a bit different this time around. So what's the update on that?
So it's the same as before, the last time we gave you guys an update. It's something we're working on for Centurion. It does not have an ETA. It is not in this testing grounds. It's not in the next testing grounds. It's not in year 3. But it is continually, for us, a priority. Mm-hmm. What is a little bit different about Centurion versus Warlord and Gladiator, when we saw the survey results for Warlord and Gladiator, it quickly and easily answered the questions that we had about those two characters. Gladiator surveys were almost unanimously, we want this, please give it to us now. Mm-hmm. And we did that at our first opportunity, so quickly afterwards. Warlord was in a similar case. They wanted it now. They wanted a bit more for the character, So what we did is we put that content live that we had in the testing grounds as quickly as we could with Gladiator. Before and after, there were, I think, 4 to 6 patches, something like that. We touched Warlord with one buff or another.
Yeah.
And think over time that's kind of snowballed. Actually, we're seeing in our current data with the game designers in Platinum Plus duels, Warlord ended up spiking to #1. I don't know if it'll stay there, but that was a bit surprising that it was ahead of Hitokiri, Shugoki in Platinum Plus duels. So the point is that we got the answer that we were looking for on these characters, and we did.
So the difference is that it's not always as simple as the survey, and this is the point of testing grounds, right? It's to kind of get the feedback from you guys back at home that are playing, and make sure that the feedback that you guys are receiving is taken into account. And for Centurion, it was a bit more of an ambitious update, and so it might complexify the things, correct?
Exactly. And in terms of some of the feedback, there were 3 major points that we've been working on that have come back, and this is why it's not like immediately push it, because that's not the purpose. It's not validate and ship. It's the back and forth collaborative effort. So here, anyway, the major 3 problems that we had were the jab didn't work depending on certain branchings. If you came from, say, light attack into jab, you couldn't threaten with feint guard break or anything like that. It could be rolled. So this is something we're worked on. On the other side of the coin, it was like, it is the frustration of being jabbed wasn't as low as we were hoping for. So to fix one, do we not raise the other one, and vice versa? This is kind of like the back and forth, the give and take that has to happen to fix both of these elements in a satisfying way without creating knock-on effects. That's a challenging one. And then smaller bugs that are frankly easier to fix in terms of like haymaker, guard break, punch, stuff like that to go through. So these are kind of the reasons why it's not obviously already shipped. These are identified by the players. We're going through with the satisfying answer that we're looking for before we would decide when would it be able to go in front of you guys again, and would it be testing grounds or live?
Yeah, and like for example, for when the Centurion was released, obviously it came out and he was a bit OP, and then after that we had the action of taking away some of that OP-ness and kind of nerfing down the character. And the whole point of testing grounds is to make sure that we get to the point where once it's shipped, it's more of a permanent thing than having to react afterwards. So I'm assuming that's why, when it comes to the feedback and you're analyzing all of the comments that you guys are giving back at home, that's why it can be, you guys are still waiting patiently for those who are sent mains and stuff like that for sure. But, the whole point is for it to be well analyzed, and once it's shipped, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I also know Centurion's like a tougher case because while there's a lot of people who love Centurion, there's also a lot of people who have, both in the community and in the dev team, who have PTSD after season 2, frankly. And trying to
people. Yeah,
I know.
That was
like,
the sent main in season 2.
Of course you were.
Good and evil, or vice versa, maybe depending on. Actually, should have been good and evil, depending on my perspective. But I mean, that's really what it is with this character. Anyway, to hopefully touch on the fears and so on, it is still being worked on. When we know more information, we will share that with you guys. But that's where we're at.
And just if we can post up the second slide again, this is the things that you just recapped, but these are in writing. And so these are still the things that you guys are looking at, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see in the to fix as kind of the stuff that we were just talking about a little bit. These are the major elements that we're trying to actually fix. We have more or less progress on each of these depending on the topic. But for us, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, well that's a cool update on Centurion. Obviously we'll be keeping you guys posted once we have an update on that. That being said, we have today, January 16th, where we'll be talking about Breach 2.0, which is going to be super cool, and that's live today. Some of you have already probably read the article, but Edgar will be joining us right after this to get more into detail about what the testing grounds phase number 2 is all about, Breach 2.0. So we'll be back right after this. Joined back now with Ed.
Hey.
How are you, Ed?
Hey, I'm very good, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you
How
too.
was your holidays?
Very not as relaxing when you have a kid. But hey,
Yes,
whatever.
Ed is a
It comes
father.
with the territory.
How old is your
He's
child now?
6.5 months. So yeah,
So cute.
not the best child to hold while you're trying to play For Honor.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a
know.
tender age to be doing both of
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Especially when you're getting tilted. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Seriously.
For
no.
sure, for sure. Okay, so back on For Honor, Testing Grounds, Breach. So that's live today, 2.0. A lot of cool things that you're gonna get into. We have a PowerPoint, of course, that we're gonna show. Let's start maybe high level on what it is. This is the info reminders right now that we already went through. But can you start us off like?
Definitely.
Breach, it's the first time we touch it. Why are we touching it?
So since Marching Fire, we haven't really, done anything major on the game mode. And this is actually something that we've been working on for many, many months. It's gone through, many people have also, put their hands in and started messing around with some of the rules. And we felt that when we launched Breach, we really delivered on the fantasy side of it. This is what people wanted. They wanted a siege type mode where you storm a castle, break through, it's that medieval fantasy,
Yeah.
So
It's very immersive. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, with the ram, the archers, and different objectives, and a final objective that is the commander that you need to take out. It's look at any fantasy or medieval movie, and that's like the big epic scene.
It's the dream. It's the dream. Yeah.
And I feel that we really delivered on that fantasy, and it came out really well. However, on the team strategy side and objective side, things were a little too complex. There's a little too many moving parts to it. And so if we look at the second, thank you, Steph.
I press the button.
So obviously the initial goal was to offer a rich team experience where different people took on different roles and you completed objectives separately and you communicated, well within your team and all that. But one of the issues was that it got very muddled when, let's say, for example, you were an attacker, and let's say you were doing very well with your RAM. Your RAM was like, you were keeping it healthy, but you were also losing a lot of fights, So your tickets were being depleted, and so it was kind of hard to gauge how well am I doing, So I think we want to bring simplicity to the game mode so that you can better understand how well you're doing, and by simplifying it, you also have better communication with your team about what needs to be done.
So is it so the changes that you're bringing into this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it to make sure that it's more clear within the fantasy of breaching the castle?
Exactly.
And by maybe, refining certain elements to make it simple, it's one thing and it delivers on the fantasy of sieging.
Yes. And by bringing back the RAM as the central objective, it also pushes the fantasy further than simply depleting tickets of a certain team.
Yeah, makes sense.
We can move forward to the next.
Thank you, Steph.
So again, the objectives here were fairness and player impact. So again, it kind of comes back to the example I was bringing is it fair that your main objective being the RAM, if it's doing very well in terms of health, but yet you fail at team fights and that you're losing tickets, that doesn't really seem fair, right? I mean, you are completing your main objective, but you're maybe in combat, you're just not doing as well.
Bit contradictory in that
Exactly,
sense.
exactly. And I would say the same frustration for defenders would be you're doing very well at depleting the health of the RAM, and all of a sudden, boom, the attackers crash through the first gate, and sometimes, most of the time, we replenish the health of the RAM back to 100%.
Yeah.
So that could be also a huge level of frustration for defenders.
Yeah, you feel like all your progress is gone suddenly, and
so that's
I'm winning. Oh no, I'm losing
Right,
again.
exactly.
Well, that's the thing, because I feel like some of the battles now in Breach are very much about each phase. Are the changes now going to be more so that the game feels entirely like phase 1, 2, and 3 are all linked?
So what we've achieved with Breach 2.0 is that from beginning to end, it is really a continuous. You see your continued progress from beginning to end, is what I meant to say. So the health of the RAM will impact the amount of tickets you get at the end when you are dealing with the commander. So having, as we see here, improved player impact on the game mode. So I gave the example of really what you do in one phase will definitely shape how the game mode progresses in phase 2 and in phase 3.
Yeah.
There feels like a little bit more permanence as well.
Yes.
Like when you're talking about that first gate, like
Yeah.
on Live Breach, it's RAM regens X amount of health, often
Right.
back to full.
Right.
Tickets are restored for the
Right.
attackers.
Yeah.
And so as a defender especially, you feel like, hey, I made some progress.
Yeah.
And then it's wiped out.
Yeah.
And kind of happens on the attacker side as well with like the tickets and the respawns.
Exactly. Yeah,
Going
yeah,
up and
yeah.
down, you're like, well, does it really matter if I die or not die here? And you're like,
Yeah.
And as a player, you know, it can be difficult to kind of find yourself and understand, like, am I winning right now? Am I
Right,
doing
yeah.
well? And like, you always have those resets that kind of, you know,
Yeah.
if you're like me, that in terms of like doing math and stuff is not my forte. Like, you can make those quick connections.
Right.
But like, I'm assuming that Breach 2.0 is about kind of making sure that it's a bit more clear as a whole,
Definitely.
phase 1 till 3,
Yes.
where you stand in the game. Is it looking good? Is it looking bad?
Exactly. And another issue that was a bit frustrating for both defenders and attackers was the notion that the better you do, the more we penalize you. So when you would gain a renown level, we would up the amount of seconds you have to wait to respawn.
Yeah.
So it was going from 15 to 24 seconds as a total length of respawn you could do.
but the 15 doesn't count because that's only when you're at renown 0. And
Yes,
how long does
yeah,
that
it wouldn't last very long.
2 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah. As soon as you get your first feat, you're up to 18, I believe. So what we did was scrap that whole system, and we brought it back. We brought back a base level 20-second respawn.
So no matter what renown level you are,
Exactly,
you will respawn
yeah.
in 20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you get executed.
Unless you get executed, which we add a 3-second penalty.
Okay.
Which is not the end of the world, but it just gives the other team just that little bit of extra breathing room to kind of push an objective a little bit further before you can step in again.
Gotcha.
What we find is really interesting is like, it's basically the same at the beginning. It's definitely less frustrating towards the end
Right,
from our perspective.
right, yeah.
Where you're not like sitting there going like, well, I'm not going to respawn before my commander's dead, so that
Right.
sucks.
Yeah. Yep. Another small level of frustration was the length it takes to complete a breach match. You know, I mean, you could probably do like 10 duel matches in the amount of time, you know, it takes to complete a breach. But so obviously, a strategic game mode like this, it takes a certain amount of time to invest in a match so that you can play off the other team's strategies. You still need a certain amount of time to take decisions, to alter a game plan, you know, that sort of thing. But some things were really just stretching it out too far, you know, to the point where it's like, man, this match is still going, right? It's like it almost feels, and it's even worse when you already feel like if you were to go into the commander phase and the attacking team has 30 tickets,
Yeah.
it's
GG.
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
GG.
and you still have to play that out,
Yeah.
you know. So in speeding up some of the objectives, in consequence, it'll speed up the match as a whole. So capturing the side lane, the ramparts would be a lot faster. Pushing the ram forward. Once the ram is docked, it'll also charge faster. So all those things come into play in every phase.
So what are we talking about in terms of time difference? Like, you know, I know that like in the most extreme case, I think a game can go up to like what, 25 minutes?
Yeah, even further actually.
Yeah,
So,
so what-
yeah,
what-
that was our general region. Our average was about 25 minutes. With already what we've seen from Breach 2.0, as we were calling it, it's about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes even 18 minutes.
Okay. I
So
see.
it obviously has an impact.
Still part of being one of those strategic game modes where you
Of
say
course,
that you need
of
to
course.
invest the time, and
Yeah.
that's part of the fantasy.
Yeah,
of it,
the goal
right?
was never to bring it down to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like you wouldn't get that element out
Yeah.
of it,
But
So-
still, 5 minutes in terms of average time, that's quite a significant
Of
difference.
course.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So in terms of, that's more on a high level. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the details. Do you want to go through maybe all of the details
Sure.
specifically?
Yeah. And lastly, I'll just mention that bringing the Guardian back into relevance was also a very important step for us to take.
See.
Yeah.
Perfect. And in terms of the Guardian, I mean, you'll get into the
I'll get into
changes,
yeah.
but what was specifically needing to be addressed? I know that you're saying the relevance, but what was the main problems that led you to the conclusion that there needs to be more relevance to the Guardian?
So first of all, the Guardian was a big time investment, but another problem was that he was on a random spawning time as well. It was between a certain range. So you would also even just waste time looking if he spawned and to find out he wasn't there yet and then go back to an objective. Like that, I don't think that was particularly interesting in terms of a game mechanic, just not knowing is he there or not, and you had to go look for him. Another issue was that we removed the fire flask from his fighting kit as well. So it means, once he would drop that fire flask, people would just spread out and just kind of wait.
Yeah.
And again, that wasn't particularly interesting, and it would stall the amount of time it takes to kill him. And then when you do finally kill him, the rewards would be the same as the pickups you could pick up throughout the map.
Yeah.
And it's just obviously more players could have them at the same time.
But there's a lot of risk for a reward that may not be there? Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And oftentimes you would also die shortly after, and you invested a lot of time in something that wasn't much of a payoff. So now what we've done is we've made him so that you can actually complete your objectives with the Guardian boost so much faster and simpler. So we'll take a look at that.
Okay. So let's go through all the list of changes, like the nitty gritty, the stuff that people want to see. Let's take a look.
Yeah. All right, yes. So as I was saying, so now the attacking team will no longer have a limited amount of respawns during the first and second phase.
But phase 3 it will remain so that it's the winning.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. We'll get to that a bit later.
Cool.
But for now, we really want to emphasize the RAM and the capturing of the ramparts.
Okay.
That is the objective, and that is the only thing attackers really need to concentrate themselves on. Also, by doing this, it eliminates the need, I'm sure people will still play a certain amount of this, but defenders would hunt down the attacking team and not focus so much on defending the ramparts or clearing the pikemen around the ram.
Well, because you have to make the decision between depleting the tickets.
Exactly.
And now it's simple. It's
Yeah.
like, this is what you should be doing. So
Yeah.
if you're going to hunt them down, it needs to be for a very good reason.
Exactly. So all those fights you would have around, just balls of, ganking balls roaming around, it's not going to be as effective if the attacking team spreads out and tries capturing different objectives at once.
Well, because it has no effect, right?
Exactly.
Apart from stalling some things and progress.
If the attacker team's RAM is full health and you're killing them a lot, you are not helping yourself as a defender in winning.
What we'll see, I think, as we go over this whole thing is like, because the overall match length is a little condensed,
right?
And each of kind of like the objectives, mostly globally, are a little faster to do.
Yeah.
You should hopefully find that it's not quite so centered on like only push RAM, only get flag, forget everything else.
Yeah.
Hopefully side lane becomes a little more important. Hopefully the tickets become a little less, Cauldron a little more, Guardian.
Yes.
It's going from 0 to something, so this will be nice.
Yeah.
But that's the idea.
Nice.
And once you break down the inner gate, then we will tally up the health of the RAM and reward the attacking team with a set number of tickets depending on the ram's health. So again, the RAM even plays into the third phase, because the amount of tickets you'll get is how well did you defend your RAM as an attacker.
And that's where the permanence comes in too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, your payoff is if you really got the RAM super close to death,
right?
you have an easy or
Yeah.
final phase, and if you were really having a bad time,
So that makes it less of like, again, what we said, kind of the phase 1, then there's a reset. Phase 2,
Yeah,
there's a reset.
exactly,
It's
yeah.
now
You-
like your whole performance, part
Exactly.
of this whole game that you've played.
Yeah.
It's not like rounds, but it's a whole
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
battle.
Everything is interconnected now.
Nice.
So yeah,
Cool.
it works
That's
really
awesome.
well. And so what we have on live now at the moment in regular Breach is that if you had an attacking team, as I said, going in with 30 plus tickets, as a defender, you're just like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. What's the point? You
Yeah.
know, it's like you just throw yourself at the commander and you're going to kill him eventually.
Yeah.
So now we made it so that the maximum number of tickets is 22.
Okay.
And that's really if you have a full health RAM, which is
Almost
pretty hard.
impossible. Is
Yeah,
that
I would say
impossible?
almost impossible.
Yeah, okay.
I think I might have seen Clutch playing this morning. And I think they got in with 22 tickets.
Yeah,
but
fair enough. Fair enough.
you know what? Fine.
Yeah,
that's
not
Clutch.
everybody's at Clutch's level.
Exactly.
So shout out to
yeah.
you, buddy.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
And the lowest amount is 6 because we felt anything lower than that for the attacking team, it would be like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Again, we've already lost. So with 6, if you're very well, if you're communicating well with your team or, just strategize well in that last phase, you can make it.
You could. But it's like it's an underdog story. Let's be clear.
Yeah, but we didn't want to say, oh, your RAM was at critical health, so here's 4 respawns and just waste your time dying until the end.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So sure, let's go on to the next one. Thank you. And this we already mentioned as well. So yeah, there you go.
all right, RAM time.
Yes. So again, we've removed the healing after the outer gate. Yes. Again, the RAM will move. We can go through a few of these.
Sorry.
So yeah. So the RAM in many scenarios, the RAM will just move faster. You'll
quickening
dock
up
faster.
the pace once again.
Exactly,
The game mode
yeah.
As a whole.
And again, having the RAM double boosted, bringing it down to 12 seconds from 15,
Yeah.
it only takes one defender pikeman or one defender player to get in and stop that double boost just by having their presence around the RAM. So it could be a little hard to keep that momentum going of being double boosted all the time, but we are rewarding you if, as an attacker, you manage that.
I see.
The other thing we've done is because the RAM no longer heals after the outer gate has
Obviously,
fallen.
you had to reduce the damage.
Exactly, yeah.
Makes
So we had a lot of play sessions internally, and this is where we came to as the best
see.
amount of health.
And obviously, like the whole point of testing grounds is to kind of see where these adjustments to the values land on on a more global level. For Honor. But for you, you're confident with like these changes within the internal playtest that we've had.
Fairly confident.
Nice.
Again, we're looking to see what people say. That's why we have the surveys.
That's why testing grounds is important, guys.
Exactly.
I want to get your opinion. So
that's
cool.
And the other thing that we did was, what was happening on Breach was you would shield your RAM, and as it says here, it's for 1,200 points. And when the defenders would pull the cauldron on it, you would still have a minuscule amount of shield left on your RAM, which is kind of frustrating for a defender as well, because it just seemed a little weird that you pull the cauldron on it and you would still have shield left on the RAM. So now the cauldron damage is 750 points, and the war banner shields the RAM for 750 points, so they're equal.
Yeah.
You
so
shield
once
your
you
RAM,
get it, it's done.
Yeah, it equals one cauldron strike.
Yeah, makes
so
sense. Makes sense.
you know exactly how much health you're shielding for.
The RAM parts.
All right.
The side lane.
Yes. So again, the amount of time to capture it, whether it's the default when you're alone or when you're with your pikeman and your fortifier, they've been sped up slightly. I think it really helps the flow of the game a lot better. All right, now we're getting into the Guardian. So as I said before, the Guardian would spawn on a randomized timing scale. Now it is set timings. You know exactly when he's going to spawn. Okay. So 2 minutes 30 after the fall of the outer gate. And once you do kill him, he will respawn 2 minutes 30 after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we all remember that the flag spawns 3 minutes at the start of the
Yes.
phase and 4 minutes after every cash-in.
Yeah.
So set your clocks accordingly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you may very well be doing the Guardian while someone may be taking the shield banner. So there's a choice to make there that makes
see.
it a little more interesting.
And they're offset so that you have to kind of like make those decisions.
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Want to talk about the reward?
Yes. All right. So once you do kill the Guardian, let's see what you should get. So instead of the shield, speed, and attack boost that you were getting before, those are out completely. And what we give now is instant full health, because nothing is worse than killing the Guardian and dying 10 seconds
now.
later.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So instant full health, you get a 100% shield, and instant revenge. So what we were finding was that, during our internal play sessions, was that you would kill the king, but then you would also have to deal with all the remaining players of the opposite team that were still alive while you were all fighting the Guardian.
So now you're juiced
Sorry,
up
guys.
as soon as you get him. You're hyped.
Yeah, so now you're in revenge mode, which gives you that tool to deal with those remaining players on the opposite team and getting the hell out of there and completing your objectives.
And on a fantasy level, it makes sense as well. You know, like you just
Sure.
killed the Guardian.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
time to get hyped.
We
Here
gotta,
go.
we gotta buff you
Go
up.
Super Saiyan. Let's go.
Infinite stamina. This one is really interesting because it allows you to keep that pressure on your opponents, and for it to last for a 2-minute duration, it's like it really.
That's significant.
It's very significant, yes. And one of the issues we had before was that people just didn't take the time to do the Guardian anymore just because it wasn't worth it. It wasn't enough. We didn't buff you enough for it. So this is one of those things that really I think players will see a huge benefit in doing this. We give you a 1,000% damage increase against pikemen. A little overkill, yes, but I think it gets the point across that a light attack will kill a pikeman now,
So, yeah, okay.
once you have the Guardian boost. They're as threatening now as minions.
So
are
now
in
the
Dominion.
reward to kill the Guardian with all of these changes becomes very interesting
Yes.
for whoever tries to go and you have to defend it
Yeah.
or whatever you have to do.
Exactly.
But it's something that's very important. now.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And you get a 50% damage reduction from pikemen as well. So again, they don't become threatening anymore once you have the Guardian boost. Yes, and very importantly, for the testing grounds, we are using a placeholder visual effect to signify that you have it. Like I said, it's placeholder, and you have the red glowing eyes effect.
That's pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
pretty cool.
badass.
That's pretty sick.
It's pretty threatening when you see a team of red glowing eyes coming at you.
Yeah, I'm picturing it.
And you
I'm
get
pretty
the hell
scared.
out of Dodge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I like that.
And another thing is because they last, so with all this, that we've really boosted you here.
Yeah.
And if you still manage to die with that, it's gone.
Yeah. No, fair game.
I'm
fair
sorry.
game,
Yeah,
guys.
come on.
Come
Yeah.
on. Come on.
So
Infinite stamina.
even if you get revived, if you get revived, the effects will not last. You will lose them no matter what. So whether you respawn or get revived, you
So
lose
just to
them.
be clear, this is per individual.
Yes.
It's not like
of
one
course.
guy dies and then like everybody's like,
Yes,
and
per
then you hate
individual.
that person
Yes,
for the rest of the game.
exactly. Oh, yeah. Yes, that would suck.
Because I would have been that guy. So
Yeah.
finally.
And so yes, testing grounds, we chosen these two maps, Walled City and Hallowed Bastion, because they represent the lower, I don't know how to say this, the
extremities.
extremities, yes, of the win percentages for attackers.
Gotcha.
So that's why we took these two maps as these cases and hoping they reach a nice middle ground.
So when you say extremities, it means the results like based off of the attackers on ones. So
Yeah.
that one is for Walled City. Or-
Yeah, so Walled City was a little more favorable to attackers, and Hallowed Bastion was a little more favorable to defenders.
Okay, so that's why you chose these two, so that whatever
Exactly.
data that you guys get back, you guys can analyze it from the defender standpoint
Yeah.
on Hallowed Bastion and attacker standpoint.
Exactly. Yeah,
Gotcha.
always trying to reach that glorious 50-50
Nice.
percentile.
Awesome.
So
That glorious 50.
yeah.
Yeah, so a little update on this because I got a phone
Yes.
call.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I've seen this
So
message.
single pick will be applied. It's just
Yes.
right now we're doing a couple of tests, so it's not available right now.
Yeah.
But we'll keep you guys updated. Alex is going to post some stuff with Matt and everyone
It's
from
coming.
from the CMs that are going to be able to tell you when it's going to be integrated. But this is the goal for this testing ground.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to touch upon a little more on
Yeah, I
single
mean,
pick.
basically, we'd like to see, like as we talked about, it being an objective-based mode. Can we see a little more team strategy happening that way through various characters being on the board? And also, can we reduce the frustration of ending up in a 4-stack or facing a 4-stack of all Hitokiris or all
Right.
Raiders or all whoever you hate
Yeah.
coming in and murdering you as a group?
Yeah. That's a great line.
Yeah.
Coming and murdering you as a group.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Premeditated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, feel free to give us feedback.
Not feel free. We strongly
yes.
encourage. We strongly encourage because that's the goal of this testing grounds,
But
of course.
we strongly encourage giving feedback after you've played it with single pick. So, a lot of people have pre-notions of what
Single pick is.
of what it entails and how they feel about it. Please play several rounds of it.
Yeah.
And then
It's
you
a
know,
2-week.
maybe
it's a
you'll
2-week
feel
phase,
differently.
right? Yeah, it's a 2-week phase, and of course, as Stefan mentioned, the first testing grounds phase, a lot of the feedback was coming in late, but that's a
Yeah.
good thing because it means that people have been playing it for
Right.
the full period of time. Obviously, the goal here is to collaborate with you guys playing back at home and get your feedback, so that if we do bring these changes, of course, testing grounds is that type of environment that we can kind of get all the data, analyze it the proper way, and make sure
Yeah.
that when we bring those, there is no kind of backlash because we've already went through that phase of testing.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
that's what the
exactly.
final point is there. It's like,
Yeah.
please do your survey. The thing is up
Yes.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play Testing Grounds Breach right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Please do so. Please do the survey at some point in this 2-week period
Yeah.
because we want to hear from you.
Do we say like a good week of playing would be like ideal? I don't know if there's like a
say
threshold.
each individual? What
as
is
much as
what
you
is
I mean,
your
if you're playing
schedule
16
like?
hours a day, I mean, by
Yeah.
all means,
Whatever you
but
want,
it's-
right? Like,
I mean,
Yeah, just test it out.
I'd love to
Sorry.
hear if people who already enjoy Breach, do you prefer
Yeah.
Breach now?
Yeah.
People who don't enjoy Breach, and please try it out. And
Yeah.
do you at least enjoy Breach more? Would you play a couple of rounds more of Breach if we ship this?
Yeah.
You know?
And one of the things I'm kind of excited about is like, this is our second testing ground. So like, how do people respond? It's also our first testing ground on a non-fight
Yes.
feature. It's a game mode feature.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how does that feedback work,
Yeah.
and also kind of opens up like possibilities in my head of like, hey, what can we actually do with this testing ground?
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's
Yeah,
a very
I mean,
cool tool, a very useful tool, right? So
we can do many things with it. So
Yeah.
it's not just fighters, but that's not to say fighters won't return at some
Yeah,
point in
exactly.
testing grounds. But yeah,
That's
we
awesome.
can do many things with this.
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for breaking this down. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be really cool to see Breach 2.0 live from January 16th again until January 30th. Again, surveys whenever you'd like, but ideally try to take some time, take it in.
Yeah.
Give us your honest feedback. That's what the testing grounds is here for. Thank you again so much, Stefan and Edgar, everyone. And we'll be
you.
back with Clarissa to talk about tournaments because we got a lot to talk about. So we'll be right back after this. And back now with Clarissa. Did you miss being on the Warrior stuff? Of course you did.
Well, I mean, I was
Yeah, you were
I was
there.
still
You were
here,
there. You
so
were there.
watching everything,
Tournaments.
spying on people. Tournaments.
Tournaments. Tournaments.
So
What's going on? What's going on with tournaments?
there's a lot of tournaments that's been happening.
Yes.
And
this
there
is a
are
long,
a
like
lot
we've
more.
got papers here, and it's a very long segment for tournaments.
Yeah.
So
Well,
why
we
don't
have
you
a
start
lot to
us
talk
off?
about
Yeah, let's do it.
outside of tournaments. So I'm going, because there were a lot of tournaments that happened, and this is the first Warriors Den since our previous one, which was on the Jan Hughes event. I'm only going to cover the tournaments that happened this past weekend.
Yo, I didn't even mention your hair, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Did you see her hair? It's super cool because I've seen her since before the Warriors then, but little
I'm trying to be super anime.
Yeah.
If you know Eunice, I'm Chaos. All right.
Go pair.
No, people who know in chat,
They'll
know.
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 They'll get the reference. I didn't get the reference, but
It's okay.
I understand.
But so I'll be covering this past weekend's tournaments, but also talking about upcoming tournaments, not just for this weekend, but also the following weekend. So that way, people who don't know how to search tournaments and they only get their information from Warriors Den, they have time to find a team, to warm up, to schedule accordingly, because today's Thursday, announcing tournaments for the weekend. What if you have plans you could have adjusted? So basically, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for
Nice.
access.
Awesome.
So to start off with these past tournaments, this past weekend, Katanis, sorry. She ran the For Honor Esports community. Now she works on Destiny 2 Esports. But she ran a 4v4 Dominion tournament on PS4 for Europe. First place was Imagine DQ, but we are still here. Second place is KO Gaming Espadas. So these two teams have been competing in competitive For Honor tournaments for a while. And they met first in the semifinals, which was right before the winners finals, and it was really close. It was the ending result is 3-2 with Imagine DQ moving forward, and then KO going down to the losers bracket. They met again in the grand finals, and Imagine DQ closes out in a 3-1 victory.
Shit.
So it's great. 15 teams participated. There was a prize for the winning team. You can find more information about that on battlefied.com/Destiny2 Esports. But you can also watch the VOD on twitch.tv/mitmilch. It's German, and I don't know German, so I apologize.
We don't
But it's good, and I recommend checking it out. So that's that. So upcoming next, from the past tournaments is Elix NA Dominion Tournament for PC. First place was Ludilo Fan Club, and second place was NA Hydra. Ludilo Fan Club also recently ran, they've been also very competitive. It consists of Scorebrand, Ravelord, Shigstaz, Karma, and Quilt. So these are people who have been playing the game for a long time. Same thing with second place for NA Hydra, Mr. Kyle, Ledgemeister, JustDodge.tv, and Soritsu. What's really nice about these people is even though they haven't been competing since year one of For Honor or whatever, a lot of these people are streamers. A lot of these people were just casual gamers at matchmaking, and they want to improve their skills. So they started competing together, and they formed a team. And
now they're just dominating.
Well, they're getting there.
Yeah.
So if you compare it to, for example, with Ludilo Fan Club, if you watch the tournament, you can see how Ludilo Fan Club has really good rotations. You can see the strategy.
With some big names here, recognizable names in there. So
yeah, exactly. And it's nice. And Ludilo Fan Club and NA Hydra, they fought each other twice. So first before, I don't remember. I think it was during the semifinals or the winners finals, and then they fought again in the grand finals. The thing with Ludilo is they didn't lose a single game except for one in the winners finals against Ubu Gang. I think it's Ubu Gang. Yes, Ubu Gang, which was the clip that you just saw recently, just now. And that had Saibi, Threnu, Wooden Toaster, Dilth, and Mambino. So it was really good. They have a VOD on twitch.tv/Elecdash. And what's special about this tournament is that Verbalocity casted the tournament.
Verb. My good man, Verb. Hope you're doing well, Verb.
So really good casting. Also the same thing with the Dominion tournament in Europe. They also had a really good caster, Mid. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But they're all good casters, and like it's just good to learn from them, just the ideas of it. So moving forward. Oh yes, and there was 5 teams that participated, and there was a prize pool as well. So thank you for that. Moving forward, Slaceon Gaming had their Xbox 4v4 Dominion for the new year. First place is Smooth Brains, and second place, turning the page, is EOA and MDM. EOA and MDM. There's 19 teams that participated and also a $200 prize pool. And the VOD is on twitch.tv/Slaceon Gaming. So that's really cool. Then Slaceon Gaming has been running consistently recently a lot of Xbox tournaments, but they will be having other tournaments coming up, so which we'll be talking about next. So upcoming this weekend first is Elix EU Dominion Tournament. So last weekend it was for NA. This time it's for EU. It's on Saturday, January 18th at 8 a.m. PST, so that's 4 p.m. UTC. The prize pool is donation funded, which you can donate via Matcherino. All the information about that is on the Battlefy page, battlefy.com/studio tournaments. While the Battlefy page, right here, while the Battlefy page is here, you can also look at all the results from the past tournaments that he ran, including the NA tournament. So next after that, Slaceon Gaming is having their PC 2v2 tournament on Sunday, January 19th at 12 p.m. PST. Originally, it was on Saturday, but it just recently got moved. So if you didn't hear the announcement, now you did. There is also a $200 prize pool for the winning team. Obviously, if you want to donate more to the prize, you can. And you can find more information about that on battlefy.com/Slaceon Gaming. It's Slaceon, right? Or Slaceon?
I think it's Slaceon, I would say,
Slaceon?
but I'm not
Slaceon?
sure. That's all I have to say.
Slay.
Slaceon. I feel.
Slay Gaming. Slaceon.
Yeah.
Slaceon.
Slaceon.
Slay Scion? What if it's Scion?
Maybe.
Oh no, English is hard.
It is. It
Well,
is.
whatever. Anyways,
French is harder.
I
Though.
apologize.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Très difficile.
That was nice.
Oh, thank you.
Moving forward, they will also be okay, so we're moving forward now to not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Yeah.
So the following weekend, Slaceon Gaming will also be having a PS4 tournament. It will be Dominion. And it will be on Sunday, January 26th at 1:30 p.m. CST.
Start booking it.
Yeah.
Book it now.
Prize
the point.
$200 US plus donations. And like previously shown, battlefy.com/Slaceon Gaming. Sign up. On Friday next week, Friday the 24th, Univision is having the all-time greatest duelists for PS4 and NA only. It will begin on 7 p.m. CST, and the prize is $30 Cash App. So you must have the Cash App to receive the money if you win. More information about it will be on battlefy.com/Univision tournaments. Next, on Sunday, No Honor presents It's Time to Duel.
That was excellent.
I try my best. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! So this is a Russian tournament, and if you don't speak Russian, you are still able to join. Just find all the information on how to go about that on the Battlefy page. But it is on PC. It is a duel, obviously.
Yes.
And so it will begin on Sunday, January 26th at 6 p.m. MSK. And there will be a prize for the top 3 players. What the prizes are, you just go on the battlefy.com/no honor right here. No honor. It reminds me of when we dueled.
Yeah, and you have absolutely no honor.
Listen, in
I'm
my
just
house.
saying. Oh, and by the way,
my house.
guys, we know that we played against Yusuf, and it's gonna happen soon, where I get not my revenge because, I mean, we haven't played yet, but he's been talking to me through his mediums, through social media.
Yo, he's still talking
He's
shit.
talking so much shit, you have no idea. It's gonna be a sweet victory, I can guarantee it. Just letting you know. It'll happen
Which is
soon.
a good segue into the next thing I would like to point out.
Let's do it.
So, because Mike has a duel, he needs to hone his skills and level up, right?
That's right.
Where do you do that?
I have no idea.
Well-
I was gonna look within me but
that's
I don't
true.
know. I don't know how good that is. So.
Well, you gotta believe in the
Oh, yeah.
art of the fight
Are you sure? We're gonna-
war cards.
Yeah, let's get back to what you
Anyways.
wanted to say.
For Honor Trials.
Tell me more. Is it
For
gonna help
Honor
me?
Trials, yes.
Okay.
So For Honor Trials recently just launched. It is a Discord server dedicated to helping improve your gameplay with coaching from top tournament players. All skill levels are welcome. So basically, the idea of the server is to help introduce players to the quote-unquote competitive style of For Honor. So just, yeah, tournaments. But the thing is,
Interesting.
just because it's competitive, it doesn't mean that you have to participate in tournaments or whatever. So tournament participation is not required. Like, if you want to just get better as a player, just join this Discord. Like, they are open to all. They're all open to skill. They're open to all skill levels.
We're gonna get through it. Don't worry.
It's been a long day, all right. It's been a long Warriors Den as well. It's also been a while.
Yeah.
So, and also
Open to all skill levels, right? Let's start there. Open to all skill levels. So
I'm
even
sorry.
me,
I'm sorry.
who's looking for help, I can come there. I don't have to go on the community tournaments
Yes.
necessarily.
Yes.
Because I just need to dominate Youssef, basically. So that's a pretty simple task.
Yeah, I mean, and the server features a lot of awesome stuff. So examples are coach picked up games / scrimmages. So if you don't know what a pickup game or a scrimmage is, they're basically practice matches. So it's not matchmaking or anything. You find a group of people. A lot of people are always asking for scrimmages in this Discord, and then you go into a custom match. Usually it's Dominion, but they will be focusing on other modes as well. But right now the focus is on Dominion, and you go into a custom match and you duke it out and you play. But on top of this, the most important part about these scrimmages is that they're going to be coached, or they're supposed to be coached.
Interesting.
Basically, you're going to join and organize practice matches with experienced top players who can help identify weaknesses in your playstyle and areas to improve with personalized feedback. So,
Interesting.
like,
You know,
think
guys,
about
I
it.
got a PC during Christmas. I made myself that gift, and so I might be joining this Discord for the sake of just dominating Youssef. Just letting you know, Youssef, I'm speaking directly to you. Directly to you. It's gonna happen. Okay. All right. Is that it for trials, which I will be
Nope.
inquiring?
I am
eventually?
not done.
Okay,
There's a lot of
okay.
information.
All right,
well,
let's go.
It's because
Let's keep
it's pretty important, and I think it's a good step to help bridge. Like, there's a lot of questions from a lot of players who are like, okay, well, I don't really participate in tournaments, and I go into matchmaking, and I'm completely dominating everyone. But then when I go into a tournament, I get destroyed. So how do I become a competitive player,
Yes.
right?
Well, you want to be surrounded by the people that you can learn from.
Yes,
Obviously, if
exactly.
you're playing matchmaking and you're dominating, of course, that's good experience. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know that when I do that, I don't dominate necessarily. But no, it's like anything. You know, like you want to
Exactly.
be around the best. You have to find that place,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the place. It's a great, I think, activation for people that want to take their For Honor skills to the next level.
Yep.
And even if you don't want to be necessarily competing, if you just want to get better and just dominate on the battlefield, as I will dominate Youssef, you just go here.
There's a
and
lot
you
of
learn.
domination.
Oh yeah. No, I need to make it crystal clear. I was gonna say something else, but that's it. Anyway, yeah.
I was gonna. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyways, but yes. So, and there's also, we want to, like, a lot of people in the community also want to get rid of the stigma that, like, competitive means toxic, right? And then casuals, and there tends to be some sort of like tension between the two. But what's really nice about this Discord server is everyone is looking to improve. Everyone has that improvement mentality. Everyone is nice, and like
just
no one's
chill.
really judgmental. Like there is also this type of thing. Like, it also happens to me too, where I tend to get a little insecure because I'm weak, and if I'm playing with someone else, I get nervous. But like, just focus on just the experience. It's not necessarily always about winning and losing. The whole point of this server, and just for a lot of people, is just to improve, right?
Yes.
Take what if you messed up, take what you learned from that like mistake,
Yes.
and just be a better. Like, don't do it again, or do something else, or there's a lot going. It's a lot more. Like, a lot of people think competitive is just staring at people. Like, that's the optimal play. Don't press buttons.
I believe it was
whatever.
Michael Jordan who said, I'm going to try to get this correct. He said, I accomplished only because I failed more than everyone else. So that means that he's failed so many times that he learned from those mistakes, which you can do on trials. Just have that mentality when you go in. Nice people.
Yes,
Nice
exactly.
information.
So while we're talking about this, you can join the Discord right now at bit.ly/FHtrials, and we're also going to link it in chat. But basically what I was talking about is like competitive isn't just about staring at each other and you know, like optimal play, right? It's about organized gameplay. So think about this. Put yourself in a situation, right?
I will.
You are in comms with a team that understand how you play. You are in single pick, so you aren't going up against, like, for example, 4 Lawbringers, 4 Jormungandrs, 4 Hitokiris, or whatever. People know how to gank, so you are able to not interrupt anyone's hug or bite or pull or anything.
Yes.
And, like, you also have good map rotation, right? A lot of these come into play for the competitive. And when you see like 2 people staring at each other, there's actually a lot going on in their head. They're not necessarily saying like, all right, I'm gonna wait. Like what maybe they're thinking, okay, I'm going to like, what did they do in before? Or if they're familiar with the player, okay, I know that, for example, with the shaman, I know that if she's gonna try to bleed me from the top. So because you're aware of these things, it will help you improve as a player. Not everything is not always about reactions. It's impossible to react over like to every single thing 100% of the time. It's important to have the knowledge, and it's also important to be in a specific mentality. And that mentality is like improving and also adapting, right? It's not relying on, oh my gosh, this character sucks, I want them nerfed. It's, okay, I'm having trouble with this character, let me figure them out. So one of the things that also helped me besides like running scrims or whatever, is going into like asking someone who is really good with, for example, I used to have problems with Shugoki. So I asked someone to help me like just lab Shugoki, so I always got caught with the hugs, and so we just practiced that over and over again. And like, it's time consuming, but that's what you get for like, playing a fighting game. Fighting games are hard in general, and this also included. But anyways, point is, going back to trials, I'm sorry I'm going on a long rant. It's just competitive is just so good, and a lot of people just don't understand how like,
well,
like there's just so much more.
There's a starting point, and like there's a learning curve, and as you said, it's adapting. And this is, you know, again, if you want more information, you can keep playing For Honor the way you want to play it. That's not the point. The point is that there is this FH Trials where you guys can go, and if you're interested in competitive or getting better, if there's certain things that are frustrating you, and you know, you can talk to different people that have knowledge on different characters, because that's the whole goal. That's just to, you know, improve your experience, maybe experience For Honor in a different way that you're not used to. So that's super cool. A super cool activation.
Yeah. So on top of this, so they have coaches in there who are willing, that you can ping and ask for help or feedback. They also have timed and permanent roles for scrims. So naturally, because in Discord you have pings, people will ping people for scrimmages. There may be times where you don't want to be pinged all the time, but a lot of the servers tend to have all these roles permanent. So it's like, okay, do I keep the scrim role or do I remove it and still miss it, right? So what they implemented in this Discord is timed roles. So if you don't want to be pinged every single time for scrims, but only for like a certain amount of time, then you can apply the permanent scrim roles, which you'll get a temporary role to get notified for 2 hours rather than getting notified throughout the whole time. So that's something that, more information obviously in the Discord, so just join that. And on top of that, initially the Discord was for PC, but they do have enough coaches and people to create scrimmages for PS4 and Xbox. But obviously on PS4, Xbox, they have their own party where you can just add each other in PSN or Xbox, whatever it's called on Xbox, because I don't have an Xbox.
I have an Xbox.
Yeah, but like also they are looking for more coaches on console. So if you're interested in helping players also help you as well. Like learning, like teaching is another form of learning. But
very
yeah, reach out
philosophical
to them.
where we're getting.
I'm sorry.
I like
it's
it.
really
No,
important,
I like
all right?
I like it though. It's very important.
Tournaments, competitive, It's important, right? So on top of that, they have tournament news and looking for teams. Like you can, if you're looking for teammates, there you go. Questions and answers. If you have any questions, just ping people in there. People are pretty fast at responding. And future plans. So they are planning on scheduling some workshops where they teach you how to, how to gank, how to rotate, how to defend in a 1v situation, etc.
Yeah.
They will be having newcomer tournaments. So now that you have grown as a player, let's test it out in a tournament in a setting that's best for you, not necessarily in a tournament where you're playing the best of the best, right? Roles for teams and leveling reward system for consistent players. So a lot of people are supportive of this. We have Crack, he streams a lot. He's been streaming a lot of the pickup scrims games. There's Freeze, there's Havoc in there. The owner is Karma, also known as previously Prime Diversion or Prime Danny. He was a really good Nobu player. Actually, in the clip before, he was playing Black Prior in the tournament.
Nice.
But he is a longtime matchmaking player turned competitive player with many tournament wins under his belt and a great deal of enthusiasm to help players improve. There were a lot of players. So yes, so you got to join it in there.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
So, yeah, I like
But,
it. It's
yeah.
definitely better than my current coach, which was Vivid Naz, which is what a fucking mess. Anyways.
But yeah, so that's more or less the gist of it. Join it. Right now, like in the past, well, not right now, but like last time I spoke with them, they just launched it like this past weekend, and they already have over 800 members.
That's awesome.
So let's try to get it at 1K.
Yeah, let's
Let's
do it.
go.
Let's do it. And the other thing is, and we're going to be ending off the show unless there's anything else on trials. that you
No,
wanted
that's
to
more or
mention.
less the gist of it.
Well, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of philosophy that we spoke about. Obviously, testing grounds. That's live today for Breach 2.0, but it's really cool that we talk about this end because I think it ties in, and not that I'm saying anything new, but as we mentioned in the article post for year 4, there's new stuff coming for competitive, and if you're looking to get into that, this is a great starting point. So thank you to everybody that's involved that's starting this. I think it's a great movement, and I will be looking into it for my personal goals, which is to dominate USEF. That being said, guys, want to thank you for joining us on today's show. A lot of information on Breach 2.0. You can experience it today, January 16th until 30th. Very important for everyone on the team that worked on this. And, making sure that we can make For Honor the best experience possible to answer those surveys. And take the time to play the game, experience it, give your honest feedback, constructive feedback, and that way we can integrate those changes or whatever changes there is, confirm the things that are good for Breach 2.0 that's live now. So without further ado, that's the end of today's show. And we'll see you soon for some information on year 4. When will that be? I don't know. End of January. That's what I'll tell you. All right, guys. Take it easy. Ciao, ciao.